Good morning, Brad Miller from ComplyAuto. It's May 30th, 2025, and I just wanted to send out a quick message. We're getting a lot of calls from Hyundai and Genesis dealers in particular about the Hyundai Dealer Information Sharing Agreement is what it's called. I think they refer to it in shorthand as the DISA. And there are a lot of questions from our customers about implications of this agreement, and we've had a lot of conversations. And so I just wanted to do a quick video and maybe give our thoughts to the broader Hyundai Genesis community on this and things that you should be thinking about with this agreement. So for those of you who don't know, Hyundai's apparently rolled out this agreement. It appears to be a revision of something they did a few years ago. As many of you know, I worked at NADA for a long time. I worked actually when I was at NADA on the original version of this agreement with Hyundai. And I should start by saying Hyundai generally was really good to work with. They generally got the issues. And I will say that if nothing else, they've at least sort of laid their cards on the table. They're trying to do things above board here in this agreement. But the agreement does raise some issues that you have to be aware of, okay? So the other thing I should probably mention is there's nothing generally impermissible or illegal about any of this sharing, right? If, as long as, right, there's some conditions you have to meet and there's some implications for your policies, the notices you give to customers, and some other tools that you have. So let's quickly go through that. The three big issues that the agreement raises are, one, that it is very express in terms of saying that the data that Hyundai is obtaining from dealers is going to be used for marketing, and it appears marketing by Hyundai. Now, some of that marketing is on behalf of dealers as a service provider potentially, and some of it appears that it could be just for Hyundai or generally. That has implications. For example, under federal law, you give a privacy notice to your customers under the Gramm-Leach-Bliley, the FTC privacy rule, and under the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, and that most dealers say we don't share with third parties for marketing purposes. And the reason you say that is because if you did, you'd have to provide the opportunity for the customer to opt out and tell you don't share that information. You'd have to wait 30 days to share it. And so it's very complicated to do and frankly impractical. So most dealers don't do it. This agreement could cause you to have to revisit that. So that's an important question that we always, at NADA always raised with the manufacturers. On this issue when we talked about these agreements. And that's a concern here. The second big issue is because this is so expressly tied to payments like co-op payments and other benefits and other things. In other words, they're sharing data with you in exchange for you sharing data with them. It's pretty clear to me that at least under the California, the CCPA, this would be deemed a quote unquote sale of data. That has important implications under California law. If you're a California dealer, that's going to mean potentially different disclosures on your privacy policy and different tools for honoring consumer requests under the California Consumer Privacy Act. ComplyAuto can help you with that if you need to make those changes. I think you would need to make those changes, arguably, if you signed this agreement as a Hyundai dealer. And the third big piece is, I think it's Exhibit D of the agreement. It's called the Digital Marketing Program. Contemplates adding cookies, scripts, some sort of tracking technologies onto dealer websites. Again, nothing inherently wrong with this, but you need to ensure that if that's going to happen, that your cookie banner, the functionality and the language in the banner is accurate and actually does what it says it does. So in other words, if you have a banner, hopefully you do, hopefully you're using ComplyAuto, but if you have a banner that says you block analytics until you get consent, then you have to treat it appropriately. If you say we block targeting without prior to consent, you have to make sure it's done for you. ComplyAuto customers, we do that for you. That's one of the services we provide. We categorize the cookies. We ensure the banner and the blocking works as appropriate. Because basically the idea is you have to give consumers the ability to say no thanks and then honor that, right, appropriately, depending on the cookies. That could be new for a lot of dealers. Again, it'd be difficult to do on your own, but we certainly can handle that for you. So again, I would encourage all of you to reach out to NADA, to your state associations. There may be things going on, conversations with Hyundai that could change this. I know there's also an FAQ document that they recently put out, so I'd encourage you to look at that. But we want to just share some of the thoughts we have about the agreement. There are things that you're protected with. There are some data security provisions in the agreement. If you're one of our customers, you are covered, right? If you're using our tools, you certainly are complying with the safeguards rule. We can give you the written information security program that you need. So there's lots more in there, but those are the big issues that I think dealers should be thinking about. As always with these things, it all depends on if you think it's a good idea, right? I mean, this can be a good thing. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. You just got to make sure you're not falling into some of these sort of traps for the unwary. So hopefully this helps. Again, you can reach out to ComplyAuto if you have specific questions about either your privacy policy or the cookie banner, which we can help you with. If you're not a customer, reach out to us. We're glad to help you. So thanks so much, everybody.